What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my carry guns. We're going to be talking about the Glock 26 Gen 5. Now, before we get into that, I just want to thank my patron supporters. Thank you very much. We do a monthly giveaway every single month for guns and gear related items. If you want to be a part of that, all you got to do is be a patron. And we have a link to ammo.com in the description below for $20 off an order of $200 or more. Now we're going to get back to Glock 26. Which is kind of the forgotten Glock, really. Since the 43 came out, there isn't a lot talked about the Glock 26, and I think there really should be, because it is still an excellent carry gun. At one point, it was one of the most popular carry guns on the planet. I still think it should have that spot today, and I'm going to talk about why. So before I get into that, we'll talk about what it is. This is my Glock 26. Now I have unloaded this, but this is the holster I carried in. It is an incog holster, and I don't like the clips that the incog comes with, so I changed them out to Raven concealment clips, and I lost one of the damn screws. Although it doesn't seem to bother me so far, so it's no big deal, but I really do like this holster. So I carry it with the +2 base plate on it because I got big old mitts, and it's easier for me to grab out of the holster. Not necessarily I want more magazine capacity, because 10 rounds is quite a bit, at least for what I go to, but I like it because it's easier to draw, and if you can't draw your pistol, it's not going to be worth very much. So I get a little bit better purchase with a little bit shorter barrel there, and it feels really nice. Some of the upgrades that I've done this pistol right off the bat are going to be, I added Ameriglow sights, which is pretty common for most of my Glocks. You'll see a very similar Ameriglow Hackathorn sight because they're excellent and they're only 50 bucks. And I put my little thumb ramp here, and that is it. This is one of the most uncustomized Glocks you'll see because I do use it as a carry gun. And I don't want to change the factory reliability, and I don't want to have any problems with Punisher skulls or anything like that in case I shoot somebody and I have to be in a courtroom. Now the Glock 26, in my opinion, is still the baby Glock, but it's more of the fat baby Glock. It used to be the smallest Glock where it got the name the baby Glock, but this is a lot thicker of a girl than the 43 is, so I call it the fat baby. Kind of reminds me of Parks and Rec. It has a magazine capacity of 10 to 12 rounds, as you can see, as I've already shown you. It's got a 3.5-inch barrel, and it weighs a featherweight 21 ounces with a empty mag, making it very lightweight, yet very manageable to shoot quickly, which is why I chose it. What would you use a gun like this for? Well, you'd only use it for concealed carry, really. I mean, I can't think of any other reason that you would want to use it for a competition or a home defense gun, unless it was your only gun. And the nice thing about the 26, in my opinion, over something like the 42 or the 43 or maybe even the Shield, is the 26 in particular shoots very, very well for its size. So if you had to use this for a carry gun and then you had to use it for a home defense gun, I don't think you would have any problems, especially if you had to, let's say, dump a whole mag quickly. This gun can really do that. And the only downside to this being a home defense gun, in my opinion, especially considering it will take the larger magazines, let's say even a Glock 17 magazine, which you could also use as a backup for your carry gun. You could use this in your holster, and then you could have a backup Glock 17 mag if you need that kind of firepower. But the only downside to being a home defense gun is that it doesn't have a rail, so you might get stuck going around corners in the whole 90s FBI grip. Why I like the Glock 26? This is why. Now, some of the features the Gen 5 is going to have over the Gen 4 is, first off, it doesn't really have a mag well because the Glock 26 is not very big, and I'm kind of happy about that because on the 19, the flared mag well, all it really does for me is kind of dig into my side just slightly more. Not really noticeable, but for a carry gun, I don't really need a flared mag well. And I also like that they didn't add in that stupid cutout that I hate on the front there, so the Glock 26 doesn't have that, which is really nice. It also doesn't have any finger grooves, which is nice as well. Now, it does have the RTF2 grip on it, and for some reason this grip feels okay to me on the 26. I usually upgrade to sandpaper grips or rubber grips or even stippling, but on this particular gun, I've shot it just fine with the way it is, and considering that's the most comfortable when you carry it, I'm fine with it as well. So I did undercut the trigger guard, though, quite dramatically. I would say on this one I went a little bit too far, honestly, but I'm not worried about it. I'm never going to sell this gun, so it's no big deal. I also cut the thumb ramp a little bit excessively as well too, but it allows me to get that higher purchase up on the gun and that really aggressive grip so I can shoot this gun as fast as I want to shoot it. It also has the Marksman Barrel from the Gen 5s, and I know people make a big deal about that, but as I've said in previous videos, I don't think the Marksman Barrel really matters that much. I know it's guaranteed 4 inches at 50 yards or whatever, but I think that unless you are shooting lead bullets, no real reason to upgrade your Glock barrel. And the last two upgrades that I really see are going to be the ambidextrous controls. As you can see there, slide stop, slide release is on both sides, so if you're wrong-handed, it will work well for you. But the main reason to upgrade to the Gen 5s, in my opinion, is going to be the trigger. I like the trigger on the Gen 5s just a little bit more than I do the Gen 4s. Not much more, but a little bit more. As reliability goes, it is excellent, as Glocks usually are. I have shot this quite a bit since I purchased it. I don't know the exact round count, but it's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 rounds. I shot over 100 rounds of critical defense through this, which is my preferred carry load, and it all ran perfectly fine. The gun is surprisingly accurate. I shoot a lot of Glocks, so obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I was surprised because I haven't owned a Glock 26 in a long time. I used to own a Gen 4 and OD frame, which pretty much looked FDE. The old OD looked like Flat Dark Earth, and it did have a cool look, and it was always a gun that I wished I never sold. But this particular gun, I haven't owned one in a few years. I bought it again, and I was shocked at how quickly and how easily I could hit at a number of distances. I can hit at 50 yards with this no problem, and I shoot this very similar to a Glock 19 without having the extra weight and length, so it makes it an awesome carry gun for me personally. And this gun will shoot out to 100 yards, again, no problem. It's just going to be a matter of you interfacing with the gun, proper trigger control, and the only real downside of this, I wouldn't say it's inherently less accurate than something like a 34 or 17, but you're going to have a lot less sight radius to work with. So if you're really concerned about accuracy on a Glock 26, one thing you could do is have it milled for a red dot, and then you don't have to worry about that at all, and it will be just as accurate as any other larger frame pistol. As far as the ergonomics, I already touched on that a little bit. The trigger is great. I did change the sights and add the thumb ramp. It shoots amazing. I can't say that enough at how nice this pistol shoots. I was actually testing the SIG 365 right next to this, and they hold the same amount of rounds. And given the fact that the 365 is a much smaller gun, since they hold the same amount of rounds and they do shoot the same type of ammunition, the same caliber at the very least, I thought they would shoot very similar. In my opinion, the SIG was much more snappy than this, and this was much easier to shoot. I know the SIG 365 and this were two candidates for my new carry gun after my wife stole my 43. I could have bought a new 43, but I was interested in trying some new things, so I was putting these two together, and maybe I'll do a comparison video, so put in the comment section below if you want a comparison video between those two guns. But in my opinion, spoiler alert, this one shoots significantly better, at least for me. Now, I know there are some of you guys saying that 10 rounds is just not enough, and I get that. One of the reasons why I wanted to upgrade from the 43 is because I figured I would want something that shoots a little bit better, shoots a little faster, maybe holds a little bit more rounds, and so I understand the incremental problem you're going to have with round count. You know, some guys are okay with 6, some guys are okay with 8, some guys are okay with 10, 12, 14, and on the story goes. But personally for me, I live in Iowa, so the likelihood of me running into the barbarian horde of the zombie apocalypse is pretty rare, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you live in like the liberal utopia of Chicago, maybe I'd carry a G17. The price is going to be the same as about every other Glock in history. It's somewhere between $500 and $600 depending on where you get it. Now, some of the downsides are going to be that it's fat. That's probably the only downside. Let's go with that. Yeah, the only downside is it's chunky. In comparison to what I've used to carry over the years, which is going to be a 43 for the most part, it took a little bit of getting used to initially because the gun is just thick. It's a double stack as opposed to a single stack, so it's, you know, pretty common sense that it's going to be thicker. But for some reason, even over my 19, I think it's because it's kind of just shrunk in a little bit. It just has a weird effect on my brain where I think it's a little bit fatter than what it was. But if you get a high quality holster like the Incog, after just a little bit, it was no less comfortable than the 43. The only downside really is it's a little bit fatter than your standard single stacks, but it does handle great. Accessories, parts, and holsters are all readily available. The gun is very popular. It will fit into all the previous gen holsters, so any freaking holster you can think of from any holster maker you can easily get for this gun. It's a lightweight, reliable, durable, accurate, shoots amazing. What's not to love? The Glock 26 is my preferred carry gun unless I want something a little bit smaller, and then I usually go 43 or 42. So if that's not a recommendation, I don't really know what it is. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.